Hello guys, in this video we'll learn about descriptors, how we can set or update them in our JavaScript objects. So in the previous video we'll learn about a method called getOwnPropertyDescriptor, which takes an object and a key and it returns us the set of the property attributes that are that basically describe the object, what you can perform on that object, whether it is writable or not, whether it is enumerable or not, whether it is configurable or not. All such property attributes were discussed in the previous videos. So if you haven't checked the videos yet, the link for that is down below. Do check those videos first before watching this video. So there are a couple of functions in JavaScript that can be used to work with these descriptors. Okay, so we'll discuss about the setting and updating of descriptors on our own objects through some practical implementation. So let us go, let's keep the ball rolling guys, and let us start with the code. So the getOwnPropertyDescriptor that we discussed in the previous video, it took an object, okay, the property name as well, and it returns either undefined or an object containing the descriptors or the set of property attributes. So let us discuss about Object.defineProperty. Okay, what it does is it's a static method on object. It's a static method define property that is defined on the object class, so to say an object, or on the object prototype you can say, since we are dealing with JavaScript. Okay, so that can define or modify a new property on an object. It takes three arguments: the object, the property name, and the descriptor, and it will return us the modified object. So let us see an example to understand this. Let us say I have an object and set it to empty braces. So I say I want to define a property on this empty object. On the empty object I want to define a property called name, and I want to set this to a value, say Pratik. Okay, so let us log the object to the console to see this in action. Console.log object. So let us see what we get as the output when we run this file. If I say node object descriptors.js, what do you expect to get? So I think there is a small slight error while running the file, so let us check that. Am I in the correct folder? I'm in the objects folder. So I say node objects, okay, descriptors.js. So yes, we are getting the empty object as such for now. Okay, so this means the property is defined. We can't see the property of value being set to Pratik. Why is the reason? What is the reason behind this? So if I try to log the object dot name, will it log Pratik to the console in this case? So let us see. We are getting Pratik in this case, yes. So moving further, let us say object dot define property, and let us play with some of the property attributes that we discussed in the previous video. So say object and then say name, and let us comment the above code so that it doesn't interfere with the below code and doesn't make the code look unpredictable. So name, we say value being set to Pratik. Let us play with the writable property first. We say writable is set to false, okay, and then enumerable is set to true. So this means if we form an object for this, okay, the enumerable is set to true, so for while loop will be able to iterate over this property of name. Okay, whenever you are iterating over the object, this property will appear in the case of foreign loops. Okay, so you will be able to see those properties because they will be visible. They will be visible when you are iterating over the object because we have set enumerable to true. Let us set configurable to true, so that we are able to modify it according to our needs or configure it. So let us log object.name. So what do you expect to get for this? Definitely we should get Pratik. So logging this to the console, we get Pratik, and let us try to write it. So we are trying to override the name property with some other value, say the nerdy dev, and then log the object.name to the console. Okay. So as you can see, we were unsuccessful in this case. The object's name property didn't get changed. Okay, why is it so? The reason behind this is we have set the writable property to false. So this means that now the name property of the object cannot be overridden in any case. Okay, since we have set writable to false. Now let us define another property where I say Object.defineProperty, and on the object I want to define another property, say last name, and then I say value of Madan, and enumerable is set to false. So let us see what object keys we have for the object now. Object.keys, and we say object. So let us try running this. Okay. So we are getting only the name property and not the last name property. The reason behind this is we have set enumerable to false. So this will not appear as a key in case of object because enumerable is set to false. This property is not visible on the first level of the object, okay, because enumerable is set to false. Otherwise, if enumerable had been set to true, this should definitely have appeared in object.keys. So setting enumerable to true, let us try running the code now and see, we are able to get the last name as the key for that object that we are working on. So let us set back to false and again try running this, and this verifies our logic that when we set enumerable to false, the for in loop will not be able to iterate over the keys. Only those keys will not be iterable where enumerable is set to false by the for in loop. Also, if we try to log the object.keys for the object, you will not get those keys that for which enumerable has been set to false. Okay, so this must be crystal clear by now. So let us try some modifications. Okay, if I say delete object.name, so what will happen in this case? If you simply say delete object.name and then try logging the object.name, should it work? We set configurable to true, so what do you expect to get? It returns undefined. So try logging the object to the console to verify whether it got deleted or not. And yes, you can see that the object.name got deleted. You cannot see last name here because enumerable is false for that, so we'll not be able to see that. Okay, and the name property is now deleted, so object.name returned undefined. When you try logging the object to the console, you will only see enumerable properties, which in this case are none because we have deleted the name property and that was enumerable. So try logging the object to the console, you are getting no property as such and an empty object as such, which is visible to us. Only the visible properties can be seen when we try to log them. Okay, so moving further, let us say Object.defineProperty. On the object, let us define a property where I can say property 1. Let us set a random value for this where I can say math.random, and into 100 I'm setting writable to true. Okay, and let us define another property, property 2, set this to an empty object, And now let us try logging Object.property1. So what do you expect to get for this? Oh, we are getting some error. Let us check that. It says defined property description must be an object. It's undefined. Okay, so at the line number 33 our object got emptied since we performed the delete operation. Let us comment these lines to see the below code in action. And what is happening? Let us save the file. Property description must be an object, set to undefined. Oh, my mistake, guys. Object.define properties, since we are defining more than one property. Okay, so let us try running this, and we're getting 86.7596 as the random value for the property 1. Okay, but why did we got this value? We have set writable to true, and the value is this. Since we haven't set enumerable to false, if we had set enumerable to false, it would have been not visible to us. Okay, but since we have logged object.property name, we will get the value, which is a random value that is getting multiplied with 100, and we're getting 86.75 as a result. So it seems like we have discussed a very long example, but it is very simple to understand. Okay, let us proceed further. In the next video we'll discuss about more complex topics. What are these topics? Let us see. We will discuss about protection of objects in the next video. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys.